All right, let's learn how to divide with fractions. Now you're going to find out it's just almost just as simple as multiplying with fractions. There's just one simple step. Okay, we're going to find the reciprocal of a fraction, and then we're going to divide the fractions. Okay, what is a reciprocal? The reciprocal of a over b is b over a. And whenever this happens, remember, can't divide by 0, so you also can't make that. If there's a 0 on top, you can't all of a sudden put it on the bottom. Okay? The product of a non-zero number and its reciprocal is always 1. Okay? Note, 0 over is okay, but 1 over is undefined. That is, the number 0 has no reciprocal. Okay, what does this mean right here? This is what that means. Say I have 1 over 2, and I want to divide it by 1 over 2. Well, let's really think about that. What is 2 divided by 2? Well, 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay, well, 1/2 divided by 1/2 is going to be 1, but why does it equal 1/2? Okay, remember, we got to take the reciprocal, which I'll denote in my notes by doing that. Well, that's the same thing as saying 1/2 times 1/2. Oops, sorry, not 1/2 times 1/2. 1/2 times 2 over 1. And notice we got 1 and 1. Well, here, 2 and 2, those can reduce down to 1 over 1, and you get 1. And that's why reciprocals multiply. Whenever you multiply something by its reciprocal, it's always going to be 1. Okay, let's do some examples here. Let's find the reciprocal of 2/3. Well, remember, it's just going to be the opposite. The reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. Okay, so continuing on. Okay, to divide any non-zero number, multiply by its reciprocal, which is what I just did up above. Notice a over b divided by c over d equals a over b times d over c. They just took the reciprocal of this. And that right there, don't forget that. Okay, for example, 1/2 divided by 4/3 is the same, is what you have to do is do 1/2 times 3/4, and that's going to equal 3/8. Let's come here and do some examples. Okay, 3/4 divided by 2/3. Well, remember, the reciprocal of 2/3 is 3 over 2. So to do 3/4 divided by 2/3, well, that's going to be 3/4 multiplied by 3 over 2. Okay, what I want before I continue on here, if I could reduce, this would be the spot I would do that. Don't do it here. You cannot do it whenever you're going to do it right here. You have to wait till it's in multiplication. Then I can continue on and go 3 times 3. Well, that's going to be a 9. 4 times 2, that's going to be 8. And notice we have an improper fraction here. I'm going to keep these as improper. You can switch them to mixed numbers. For right now, I wouldn't unless this question tells you specifically to do so. Okay, I've got 3/4 divided by 4. Well, think of the reciprocal of 4 is, well, think of 4 as always being 4 over 1. Because we could say 4 divided by 1 is what? 4. Well, the reciprocal of that would be 1/4. So we can multiply 3/4 divided by 4 is going to be 3/4 multiplied by 1 over 4. Continuing on, we're going to get 3 times 1 is going to be a 3. 4 times 4, that's going to be 16. And notice these can't reduce. Let's do another example here. Divide and reduce to lowest terms. Okay, the reciprocal of 8 over 9, it's always going to be your second term. That's always the guy you do the reciprocal of, is 9 over 8. So we multiply by 9 over 8. So continuing on here, notice I've got 16 over 27. Well, that's going to be multiplied by 9 over 8. Now let's look very carefully here. Notice that we have some common factors here. 9 will go into 27. So let's come in here and start to reduce that before we do anything else. Notice I can reduce 9 divided by 9 is 1. 27, okay, 9 will go into 27 3 times. Okay, then here I've got 16 and 8. Well, 8 will go into 8 one time, and 8 will go into 16 2 times. Now I've got something a lot more simple to work with. Instead of having some very large numbers, now I've made it simpler for me. I can do 2 times 1. Well, that's just going to be 2. and I've got 3 times 1, that's going to be 3. So when you multiply these together and reduce them, you end up getting 2/3. And that's how this is going to keep going.